Hey guys, it's Manna, and welcome to Alternative Unicorn, a weekly show where I discuss spirituality, mental health, and airy-fairy new age stuff. For today's episode, I'm gonna catch you up on my post-Whole 30 life. I posted a video about a month ago about body, mind, spirit reflections, and I talked about how I was doing the Whole 30 and exclusion medical diet that I was kind of trying. And I got through it. It's over. It's been over for at least a half of a month now. And a few people had requested that I do some updates. What was my final weight loss? What kind of things did I end up experiencing through the end of it? What was my experience like? And where am I at now? So I thought I would catch up some of you on post-Whole 30 Amanda. So post-Whole 30 Amanda looks really similar to Whole 30 Amanda. I haven't reintegrated a lot of the foods, and that's something that they suggest you do really slowly. So let me remind you, the Whole 30 for some of you, where you don't eat dairy, you don't eat grains, sugars, processed foods, alcohol, all kinds of things. But you can't eat a lot of stuff, and some people are like, what can you eat? I eat lean proteins, lots of vegetables, fruit, actually, that's about it. I eat a lot of real food. You just eat real food. And so when you're done with it, because your body has gotten rid of everything, you can't just go back and eat the same way you were. And you introduce things one by one to discover what your body actually does want and what was causing you pain, inflammation, or in my case, my stomach problems. So for me, I talked to you when I was on day 9. I was feeling really great. It 100% got harder. Don't get it twisted. It was a difficult thing to do, but I'm really happy I did it. I made it all the way through the 30 days without any kind of mess ups. And then I ended up being on vacation during the last half of it. I was out of town visiting family, and that was really difficult. But it was totally possible. My family that I was visiting was really supportive, and I was able to complete it on time. Total weight loss for the Whole 30 was 30 pounds. So 30 pounds in 30 days may seem like a lot to some of you, but I'm very heavy and very overweight. And in my experience with myself, that's really normal. When I change my diet or I change something up, those first like 50 pounds are really easy because a lot of it's water and inflammation. And then my body just responded really, really well. I haven't gained any of the weight back. It's been about a half of a month, and I'm kind of maintaining now about 1 pound to 2 pounds a week, which is right on track. It's exactly where I should be. So what have I reintegrated and how has my body responded? I haven't reintegrated a lot of foods. I did give myself permission to try a few things when it was done because I was really excited. I wanted to have some wine. I wanted to eat some fried chicken because I was on family vacation with my family in the South, and you can't go to the South without eating fried chicken. And I got really sick. Got really sick from doing that. So I haven't tried that again. But the things that I have reintroduced is I have reintroduced jasmine rice as a grain. I haven't experienced or explored any other grains more routinely. I did eat pizza on my boyfriend's birthday. Again, I got really, really sick from that. So I've noticed that my body really doesn't want a lot of grains back in. The 2 or 3 times that I tried to eat bread, I got really bad heartburn, I got a really upset stomach, I felt really tired. So I just feel like for me, it's very possible that I could have some type of intolerance, or it's just not what I need, and my body knows that. So it's trying to keep me away from that. So I have been eating jasmine rice in small quantities. I don't eat it with every meal. I don't eat it every day, but it is one of the carbs that I do eat, and it's fine. Like I said, my weight loss hasn't stopped. It hasn't really changed anything, and I feel full and happy with when I do that. And jasmine rice is really easy for my tummy to digest, and it's just an empty starch, and it's just something to add on. So positive results with adding jasmine rice for me. I tried to have cheese and put a little bit of dairy back in. Nope, not happening for me. I can't do it. Really quick, within 45-minute result that I am lactose intolerant, something I suspected for my entire life, and there may be times that I just push through the pain. But the important thing about the Whole 30 is that you're trying to understand what your body does. That's the whole point of it. It's not about being like, oh, don't eat these foods and eat these kinds of foods. It's about saying, do you understand your body? Do you know what your body wants to eat? What causes you pain? What causes some of your problems? And the reason why I did it mostly was because I have stomach problems. So for me, conquering the stomach problems was the whole point of it, to stop having heartburn, to stop having indigestion, to stop having tummy attacks, and I don't have them. So obviously something that I was eating was causing my pain. Which brings me to sugar. I have not successfully reintegrated sugar into my diet. I still do eat fruit. I always ate fruit during the Whole30. I'm continuing to eat fruit, but now, since the Whole30 was passed, and now I guess you could say I'm like 80% paleo, whatever. I'm basically paleo, except I eat rice. That's the only thing that's different, and I don't eat honey. I don't have added sugars. I still don't eat honey or agave or anything like that. So for me, what I have deduced from this is that sugar, grains, and dairy were 3 of the main things that exacerbated my stomach. Because when I tried to eat grains a little bit early on, or have a few days where I just allowed myself after it was all over, I got really sick to my stomach. When I added dairy, I got really sick to my stomach. And I haven't even tested sugar because I just know. I just know from my own personal experience that sugar is a big thing that causes heartburn for me. I have chronic heartburn, or always have had, and it's not like little amounts of indigestion. It's like bile coming out of your nose, indigestion. I mean, terrible. My whole life, it's been terrible. So heartburn for me, the way that I weaned myself off of Prilosec, because I've been on Prilosec for about 2 years, and before that I was taking 3 pills of Zantac, like 150, for 10 years before that, and then I moved to Prilosec and was on Prilosec forever. These medications have really long-term effects. There's a lot of vitamins you can't take with them, and I just don't want to be on medicine every day for my life. Like, I don't like the idea that my whole life doctors are like, you have acid reflux, which means now you have to take Prilosec, and that's just what you do. Instead of being like, why do you have acid reflux? You're in your early 30s, and at the time I was in my teens, and they're just like, you're just gonna feel like crap unless you take medicine. I don't accept that anymore. I'm about finding the root of the problem. Why am I having heartburn? Why does my stomach react this way? What is going on? Something I'm eating it doesn't like. And that's what this was about. It was about conquering and understanding why my stomach was creating so much acid. So I knew going in that getting off of these meds was going to be a process. And at first it looked, this is only for people that are watching this and have tummy problems. This will help you. And if you don't have tummy problems, I'm sorry, fast forward or don't watch this video. It's probably boring. But for those of you that have chronic heartburn and want to try to get rid of it, I knew that going off of them was going to be a trial thing, and that my stomach needed to get used to creating its own acid on its own, because I've been controlling it for the last 10 years. So it started off as every other day taking medicine, even my Whole30. Then I had about 4 or 5 days that I didn't have to take it, and it was great. And then it went to 3 days, and then it went to 4 days, and now that the Whole30 has been over for about a half a month, I have not taken any medication. I took my last medicine last Sunday, which was 1 week, and I did it because I ate pizza, and I got really sick, and I got terrible heartburn. And that was the last pill that I took, and I still get little bouts of heartburn, but I can just drink baking soda and water, and it goes away. In the past, when I do that, it comes back in like 30 minutes. Now it goes away. So now it's manageable heartburn. I feel like my stomach knows how to respond. It's digesting food properly. I don't have acid reflux. I feel that is the most rewarding thing about doing something like the Whole30 and getting my diet under control and understanding the foods that I eat. This has been so life-changing because I've been in chronic pain the majority of my life. And it was painful and awful. And so for me to not have to do this anymore, not have to deal with this issue, is 100% worth all of the sacrifice. 100% worth not eating cake. 100% worth not eating pizza. It's fine with me, and that's just me. Because I'd rather feel good than feel like that ever again. So I feel like I conquered that. I feel really excited about that. It just feels so good to not have heartburn. Bing. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to some mental things. I definitely have noticed that the Whole30 feels easier than post Whole30. Why? I think is because the Whole30 was like a short-term goal. I had passion about it. I had a time limit. I had all these little confines in which like rules and things that I had to abide by, and boundaries really work for me. I'm a person that when you set boundaries, I know what to do. I know what my parameters are, and so therefore I act accordingly. So the Whole30 was easier than right now. Post Whole30 is all about balance. It's all about figuring out how do you take these things that you've learned from the Whole30, how do you apply them into your everyday life and become a more adjusted and overall healthier individual long term? Because now I'm not on a 30-day stint of trying this thing. Now it's like, how do you want to live your life? How do you want to feel every day? And what foods are you eating impact you negatively? And how does your body feel when you eat certain stuff? So emotionally, I just, FYI, this is like personal information, but like had my first like menstrual cycle post Whole30, and it has been an emotional roller coaster, realizing how much I ran to sugar to kind of curb the PMS thing. And then I ended up just like sleeping through most of the PMS because I couldn't deal. I couldn't like binge eat, and I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to hurt my stomach or my body. And I didn't know how to respond. So I was eating watermelon. Like watermelon was my thing, and it worked. It was fine. It was fine. But I realized in that I do obviously I do have like responses to emotional shifts, to life changing. And I think that I realized I was much more of an emotional eater than I realized. I never really connected with that part of myself as an emotional eater until I took it all away. And 30 days isn't enough time to really explore emotional eating habits or binge eating habits, because you could have 30 great days. And I was on vacation for like half of those days. 14 of those 30 days I was on vacation. So it makes sense that things didn't come up for me that were super hard to process, where I was trying to run for sugar, run for trigger foods, because things were going well. And so post Whole30 is, I think, long term, probably takes more like 3 months to really hone in on what your emotional eating triggers are. And that's where I'm at now. That's what I'm working on right now, is figuring out what are my emotional eating triggers, what are the things that make me want to run for sugar or snacks, and now I'm in the process of birthing new ways to cope, because when we talk about this on here, we talk about triggers and we talk about coping mechanisms on here. So when I feel triggered and I don't have a way of coping, I will end up going into a massive depression, which I was in for the last week because I was on PMS. I didn't run for chocolate or ice cream, and I didn't do it, and that was great. But then I fell into depression because I didn't have a coping mechanism to deal with my emotional triggers. And so that's kind of where I'm exploring right now. This is a really long process, and this is probably a really long video, and it's very talky, and I'm sorry. But I feel really happy. I'm continuing to read 2 books. I'm reading the Marianne Williamson book, which I had mentioned before, and I'm also reading the Gabriel Method, which a friend had given to me, and I'm reading that. And these 2 philosophies are still guiding me through this process. Friends have been really, really helpful. I've got a massive support system, and I think that that is something that I didn't mention before, and I think is really important, that when you decide to go through something like this that's really life-changing, especially if you have a spouse or a partner or you live with people, just like any massive change in your life, you're gonna have peaks and lows. And if you're a person that already suffers from depression or anxiety, well, changing things in your life is like destabilizing your systems and your structures that you have in place. You're gonna have to find new ways, new coping mechanisms, new ways to communicate, and new ways to deal with all of your triggers. So I'm really, really fortunate. I have an amazing support system. I mean, like, out of this world support system. I have best friends that I can call at any time. I have friends that I talk to just about food, which is amazing. And I have friends that I talk to about spiritual issues. And it's just a good thing. It's just it's just an important element of going through any kind of physical transformation and spiritual transformation, is understanding where your support systems are. It's the only way I'm getting through this. It's the only way that I'm maintaining and keeping on track, is being able to be in conversations about it, and talking to you and being able to emote and connect with some of you is another way for me to extend my arm to be support for someone else and to also receive support. So that's a big way to maintain post Whole30. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to catch some of you guys up on my post Whole30 life. This is gonna be a long road. It's health. Health is a long road. Health is a spiritual, emotional, physical thing, and there are a lot more things that I could say, but I just wanted to catch you up on the basics of like literally what does food reintegration look like? How does my body respond to it? What does weight loss look like? I think that those are some of the things that people are most interested in if you are considering doing something like this. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all the support that everyone has been giving me through this, and I hope you found it informative and hopefully a little bit inspiring, and I look forward to updating you again, and I hope I have more weight loss to share with you and more positive outcomes. But I feel really happy, and yeah, I just feel really hopeful for the future. So thank you so much for stopping by. Love and light, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Mwah.